This video is going to cover making doors. In this particular example, we're going to be making stained doors. And in my opinion, stained doors have a few more pros than cons. One of the pros is that, especially if it's a dark color stain, which this is, you will get away with imperfections in the wood where you would not if we had to paint it. But this is a upstairs master bath for a customer. We have a total of 8 drawer fronts that we're going to make, and we have a total of 1, 2, 3. We have 6 doors. The only difference really between the doors and the drawers, you'll notice that the drawers actually have 1.5 inch rails, and all the doors have 2 1/4 rails here. So all the framing on the doors is 2 1/4. On drawer fronts, we do a 2 1/4 style, and then we do an 1.5 inch rail. Main reason for that is, especially on the top drawers, if you do a 2 1/4 rail, you will not have room for a pull. Okay, we could do a full 2 1/4 rail around these since they're so tall, but just for the sake of consistency, we'll keep them at 1.5 inches. Something else to consider when anytime either painting or staining is that you want to pick your best material to be on the top of everything, because when they open a door or open a drawer, you want that to be a very nice piece of material. By the same token, if you have any slight imperfections, and we try to do things as perfectly as we can, but if we have any slight imperfections, like on the inside, we want to try to tuck those underneath our top rail. If there's, we don't want an ugly piece or maybe a small imperfection to be on this bottom rail facing up. That's going to be seen. Likewise, if we can flip these around, if there's something down here that looks kind of bad, we can always flip it up to see if that helps. Likewise, on your drawer fronts, you won't ever see the bottoms, just like on your doors, you won't ever really see the bottoms of the doors. So if there are some imperfections, and there usually are, no matter how perfect we try to be, keep in mind where the door is going to go, if it's a drawer or a door, and pick a place to, well, what I usually say is pick a place to put the best material where it will be visible. And if there are slight imperfections, let's of course do the best we can to hide those. And one last point, the material we've chosen as a panel, mainly due right now just because it's hard to get a hold of stain quality 1/2 inch raw birch plywood, and that is, we're going to use 1/4 inch birch plywood, and that works okay with the doors, especially if you have a large door. It makes it light. The problem with the drawers is that you'll end up, we're going to cut a 1/4 inch dado around the entire perimeter of these frame pieces. Remember, it's a 5-piece cope and stick door setup, and this frame is going to stick inside that groove almost a 1/2 inch all the way around. The problem is there's a 1/4 inch reveal on the front and the back. So if you go to attach this drawer front to this drawer with a screw or with a pull, there's going to be a 1/4 inch gap there. So you've actually got to cut out fillers to go behind each drawer front. Okay, just a spacer to make sure when you tighten up these pulls or a screw that it does not pull this 1/4 inch panel. And on our paperwork, you'll see a setup like this. This will be in the file somewhere, and it'll show you, this is good for making sure you have the right number of doors. It's also good for counting parts. You can also count parts on the cut list, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But this is just an elevation view of our job. The plan view doesn't do us much good when we're talking about drawer fronts. And looking at our assembly sheets for this particular setup, we have, this is a frameless drawer box that we've created for these cabinets. And you'll notice that I've put an extra partition in and that's just to allow this door space to open. We've got full overlay hinges on our for our doors, and so what that means is that door is going to overlay this partition, okay, uh, all but about a 1/16 of an inch. So there's not much of a gap here. You can kind of see right here. We just want a slight gap there. So I've extended these doors to the left, and I've adjusted the doors in between down. I think it was 3/8 on each side. But everything has an 1/8 inch gap between it, so everything fits nice and tight. This top picture shows you what the actual door or drawer front is, like the dimensions. So that's 12 and 3/8. That applies to the drawer front. If you look at this interior view over here, you'll see that this gives you the dimension on the inside. Okay, 10 3/4. So that if you're assembling this cabinet, not to chase rabbits, but if you're assembling this cabinet, that means that this drawer, or this partition, I'm sorry, will be 10 3/4 from the inside to the inside of this full partition. Okay. And likewise, this 5 3/16, this stretcher, this drawer stretcher is 5 3/16 from this top stretcher. So the doors will actually mount to this partition on the inside. So you have a door hinges there, and door hinges there.